Welcome back, gang. It's Deltia from Deltiasgaming.com, and a lot of you might be starting on Hogwarts Legacy, and it's a lot to take in with the massive amount of systems, quests, and tons of exploration. But what's the no BS answer for things you really need to know to help you on your journey through the magical world? And that's what I'm going to tell you. 20 tips that will drastically help you out in Hogwarts Legacy. If you get anything out of this video, do me a big favor and hit that thumbs up, subscribe, and make sure to check the link in the description below for a metric ton of written guides to aid you in your journey for Hogwarts Legacy. But let's not do any more shoutouts, starting with number 1. That's the most important: what to expect in Hogwarts. The TLDR on what to expect early in Hogwarts is a slow burn with tons of cutscenes and dialogue. My first playthrough, I was 5 hours into the game and was wondering, where's all the systems I saw in the trailers? Broom, room requirement, mount, spells, where's everything? Relax, it will come. Especially a slow unfolding of the game's progression systems like talents. This happens through a variety of main quests and even side quests. Some players will explore Hogwarts first before doing anything else, and you can easily spend 15 hours looking over everything before doing a single main story quest outside of the tutorial. Expect Hogwarts to have a slow unfolding of the important systems through main story and side quests. Don't rush it. The systems are there, and while some will help you in combat or travel, it's not worth rushing through your playthrough just to get a broom quickly. Next up, we have a very important item I get asked a lot: are achievements and trophies missable? That's our next step. Number 2, nothing in the game is missable. You'll progress the story and the seasons will change based on that progress, but nothing is missable. Once you reach endgame, you'll be able to go back and progress through important achievements and trophies. The game is filled with countless collectibles that give you cosmetics and even performance boosts, and if you're a hoarder, don't worry. The system in the game will cater to you and all your collection needs. This goes with the premise: don't rush, take your time, explore, you'll be rewarded. Speaking of exploration and exploring, that's our number 3 tip: leveling and experience points. Hogwarts Legacy is like any other RPG. You earn experience points by various activities, and the ones people are most familiar with is like questing and killing enemies. Unlike other RPG games, Hogwarts constantly rewards you with exploration experience that is equal to or rivaling that of quest completions. Meaning if you want to explore, collect field pages, unlock new areas on the map, you'll be rewarded with experience points. If you want to go kill mobs and grind enemies in Battle Arena, that too will reward you with constant flood of experience. The max level in Hogwarts Legacy is 40 and can be achieved quite easily playing through every which way you desire, or a mixed setting like I do. A little exploration, little questing, and a little grinding. What was odd when you start out Hogwarts Legacy is figuring out exactly what levels do for you, especially early on. And that's our number 4 tip. What do levels do for you? About 5 hours into Hogwarts Legacy, I was level 10 and I had literally no idea what that meant. Unlike other games, it didn't seem there were any barrier to content and I didn't get any attributes to adjust or skill points, etc. I was just questing and going, what's the point of a level? Levels do a few things for you. 1, they allow you to earn talent points starting at level 5 all the way up to 40. The downside of these talent points is you don't get them until you complete a specific story quest. So you might be 10, level 15 before you even unlock them. Second, levels allow you to equip better gear and more powerful items. Third, levels are required for specific main and side story content. So if you're a hoarder scouting Hogwarts Legacy Castle before doing any main story missions and you're 20 hours deep wondering, is there any point to level? Yes, it will come, and levels will be very important soon. The importance of levels, that's number 5, talents. Talents are permanent boosts to your character, and when I say permanent, it's exactly what I mean. You cannot respec or change them outside of starting a new character. So once you complete a main story quest, regardless of what level, assuming you're level 5 or higher, you'll have access to them. These are very important to pick specific and powerful ones because you can't pick them all. Max level is 40, starts at 5, do the math. I have a separate guide that details the ones I suggest, link in the description below, of course. But just know that the core talents along with spells are very useful early on in the game because you'll have access to super powerful talents as early as level 5. Especially if you're playing on higher difficulty where dodging and using Perfected Protego is a must. Also, your talent trees are not locked, so you can spec into stealth, spell, core, etc. and not be punished, along with unlocking new talents at higher level. Now, if you can't get every talent with one playthrough, how many characters can you play? I'm glad you asked. That's number 6, multiple characters. Hogwarts Legacy will have 4 save slots. Ideally, these saves are for folks that want to play all 4 houses since the quest and the stories are different. You'll have a total of 10 manual save slots that can be used at various intervals in the game. To get the most out of the game, companions and stories, you'll ideally play through at least 4 times with the various houses. And during these playthroughs, you need to decide on a difficulty. That's next. Number 7, difficulty scaling. The game is set up very casual friendly with a story mode difficult setting for those players that have little interest in combat but just want the pure story and exploration. However, the hardest difficulty, hard, is actually quite challenging. The nice thing is you can change this at any time, ramping things up or down if you get stuck. Increasing the difficulty does the obvious sort of things, like make enemies hit harder, but the challenging thing comes in reaction time. The game's defensive system revolves around dodge rolling and using Protego defensive skill. On the hardest difficulty, you're going to get a fraction of the time to counter a spell, as you do on normal or story mode difficulty. So don't sweat it if you want to change the difficulty because you're not feeling it. Moving on to another hot topic when starting early on in the game is wands and what exactly they do for you. Number 8, wands. Wands are purely cosmetic. You get your wand very early in the game, can customize it fully. I have a link in the description below, shocker, about wands. But wands are not performance based. You don't get +5 stats or better spells for specifically picking a wand or a core. Later on in the game, you can even obtain wand handles. Also, purely cosmetic. So if you heard something different, don't worry about it. Pick a wand that looks cool for your playthrough. They just look the part. They don't add anything to your character. Speaking of looking cool, that's number 9, appearance. Talking about cosmetics in Hogwarts Legacy has something called a transmog system, what most people are familiar with, meaning you can acquire a piece of gear that may look ugly but has great stats for your character's overall power. You can keep the look that you want while getting the statistical bonus by changing the appearance in the gear section. There seems to be hundreds of different outfits and collectibles, so experiment, but also keep those important stats at the same time, and just simply swap to the look that you want. Going further into cosmetics is number 10, challenges and collections. As you progress through the story in the game, you'll start achieving various different challenges, a lot of which reward you with cosmetic items. Most of the time, there will be a pop-up showing when you've completed one, but you need to go inside of the collection and get your endorphin rushing by clicking collect in order to obtain it. Check back here frequently during your playthrough and make sure you have the best looking witch or wizard around because you're constantly rewarded with stuff. Next up is number 11, Revelio, a spell that is very useful throughout the entirety of the game. This shoots out a wave of energy and discovers various different types of objects, chests, and even quest-related items. Get ready to spam this thing constantly so you don't miss anything. It reminds me of the Witcher's medallion system if you played that game. Furthermore, once you unlock talents, you can actually get one in the core that increases the radius of Revelio. Very useful throughout the entirety of the game, especially for those folks that love achievements and trophies. Next up is number 12, upgrading inventory. Like any good RPG, your inventory will constantly be clogged with endless amounts of useless junk that you want to sell in order to buy that fancy scarf you saw at Hogsmeade. Very early into the game, you will encounter a quest about Trials of Merlin, Merlin's beard. This is how you expand your inventory slots. Once the initial quest is done, they will appear on your map and are simple enough puzzles that even I can do them. So, focus on these if you don't want to do the inventory management endless game. Next tip up is about making easy gold, number 13, and the best method is to find eyeball-related treasure chests laying around the area. Early on, Hogsmeade has an absolute ton to get a head start on tons of gold. You need the disillusionment spell to make yourself invisible. Sneak away about 10 meters, use this spell, open a treasure chest for an easy 500 gold. Bonus tip, because I don't want to screw up the title and ruin my 20 tips, I'd recommend unlocking various potion planning recipes early on. These are extremely valuable because consumables are related to both the quest and are also very useful in combat. Plus, once you unlock, you have them forever and will need them very early on in the game. But what else should you buy with gold? Glad you asked. That's number 14, Broom. You're going to need to save at least 600 gold for a broom pretty early on in the game. This quest can be unlocked quite easy and then opens up a massive plethora of exploration options which are critical to progressing the story. So save at least 600 gold in Hogsmeade. Sprint Witches Sporting Goods? I think I said that right. Moving on to number 15, the Dark Arts. Most folks want to know if you can be a dark wizard in the game. The answer is yes. This game isn't like Mass Effect with the morality system, but you can learn the unforgivable curses later in the game, along with a talent tree dedicated to the dark arts. I'll do my best to not spoil this for you, but you will meet a certain NPC that has an affinity for the dark arts. As you can imagine, following that questline may have certain consequences. Speaking of quests, number 16 is the Golden Trail, something very useful for doing quests very easily. You're able to hit a button and light up a compass object path. This will give you a golden snitch trail, following you, leading you exactly where to go, along with your mini-map, which can be turned on or off at ease. This is extremely useful when you start out of Hogwarts because there's tons and tons of floors and different areas that you need to go. So make sure you go to your map, target that specific quest, follow the trail, but don't be afraid to hit that compass if you need a specific trail and get confused. Also, another important tip when questing is number 17, day and night cycles. You can change the day and night time at ease via the map interface in the bottom right. Do this for various quests and also explore the castle at different times for, well, different results, if you get my drift. Next up is number 18, and that's mail. You need to constantly check your mail or the OWL system. I played for about 10 hours before I checked it once and had tons of side quest opportunities just waiting for me, along with really cool and interesting mail pieces that add to the lore and the story. So constantly check this. If you're not aware already, it will open a lot of different aspects of the game and it's fun storytelling. Next up is number 19, spell swapping. In the talent tree, an important and useful time-saving talent early is spell knowledge. This gives you access to another bar/diamond and allows you to swap quickly or bar swap to a whole new set of spells. Practically, you can have a utility spell diamond on one and a combat one another. As you advance, you might have a shield breaker bar, long cooldown bar, etc. But I highly recommend taking this early on to save a lot of time and to free up the space on your bar. Lastly is number 20, and that's dodge rolling. I didn't want to make this too combat focused, but something that will help you early on if you're struggling with combat is dodging. You can infinitely dodge. Unlike Elden Ring or The Witcher, there is no cooldown or no stamina to manage. Thus, you get nearly 100% evade just dodging. Bonus tip, you can even hit your consumable potion to stop and freeze time. This is ideal if you're one of those people that gets panicky in combat situations and get very flustered and you don't know what to do. Simply hit your consumable potion, stops time, you don't even have to select anything, calm down and make a good decision about what to do next, which usually leads into about doing 3 consecutive dodges. Well gang, that's a video, 20 tips, hope you got something out of this. Make sure to subscribe, like, leave me a comment, do all the things, check the link in the description below for Hogwarts post guides and walkthrough, and come watch me live on twitch.tv/Deltiasgaming where my mom claims I'm the best streamer alive. Thanks for watching.